Hello and welcome to episode 13 of When Pigs Fly. I am Patty. I'm joined by Tracy and Renee. Good morning, ladies.
Hello. Morning.
So we had such a fun time on that last episode where we talked about entanglement and expansion. And so now we've decided to expand upon that. We couldn't help ourselves. There's still so much more to say, and we really feel like this is going to help so many of you. Again, take what resonates and then throw the rest away. You are uniquely you. So just, you know, take the bits that mean something to you. So, who wants to jump in on this one?
I'll start. I think where I want to start off with is exploring the idea of really stretching your belief systems. And that includes a two-prong component to me. So taking all of our old belief systems and really asking questions. Do you really believe in that? Are they serving us? That's the big one. Does this resonate true to me? Are they serving us? And then exploring new belief systems that could quite possibly be deemed right now impossible, doesn't make any sense. Really, so stretching in both ways to me is the most powerful scenario. Question, challenge, ask, and see it another way that, quite frankly, is not in the realm of possibility or in the realm of conversation as of yet. I think that is a really powerful and potent formula going forward. And the more of us that engage in that, the more traction and expediency will we get in a collective global expansion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it also for me is that whole aspect is this mine? Is this my
Oh,
belief
yeah.
It's usually
Because
not.
right, because all of those that we grew up with, like, is this really my parents' belief system? Is this, my aunt, my grandmother, my whatever, like really questioning each one. And you'll be shocked when you go like, is this mine? Like, well, no, because where would I have even gotten it from? Oh my God, I got that from mom, or oh my God, I got that from dad. Oh, I got it from my cousin. Get that because everything that's being said, we're sort of taking, especially as children, right? We're taking it all in as these sponges. In addition to, what are you watching on television? What are you watching? And different things. Like, I noticed, like, my poor daughter had no life for a while because I was watching all of these murder things, because I love all of that stuff and how they figure it out and how they figure out the gun, because you're looking at somebody and like, oh my God, no, this is great. It's not them, and it is them, but the police seem to know that. Well, then all of a sudden I was projecting that out, like anytime she wanted to go out, whatever. And I started to realize, like, oh my God, I got to stop watching these things, because not only am I buying into that energy, I'm now projecting that on in my fear into my daughter and everything else. And that was always when I hear this little noise, the dogs would respond, like, oh my God, somebody's gonna be out there. So you gotta really pay attention. That stuff is going into your consciousness. Where are you getting that from? And it is shocking that when I had stopped watching that, how, I mean, it took a while. How all of a sudden I was like, okay, yeah, go have fun, girlfriend. I go for the weekend if you want. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So really asking yourself, whose belief system is this? Where are you getting it from? Paying attention to what's happening, who you're around, the stories they're telling you, because that is affecting every aspect of your reality and shifting and changing that aspect.
Yep. And we all have this fabulous built-in bullshit system. It's called a heart. And one of the biggest places where you can challenge a belief is family guilt.
Mm.
There is so much. How often do you hear, oh no, well, I have to do that because it's my aunt. And no, this is what my family or my family's going to disown me. Congratulations. Because that means you're allowed, you're a unique soul having an experience in a body. I'm going to repeat that. You are a unique soul having an experience in your body. Yes. And you chose to have experience with these people that are your family, but you did not come here. And if you explore, if you're taking action out of guilt, you need to challenge that belief. And here's the beauty. You do it with compassion. Your relatives didn't know any better because they were not consciously aware. They were not awakened yet. And so you can have compassion, but that's the journey they chose. But our GPS, which is our heart, when it's when it feels shitty, don't do it. That's your soul saying, red alert, you're off. You turn your fucking GPS off. And now you want to know why you're going amok. And it's like, how are you showing up at events where people are treating you? Are you going to get into the old energy and repeat the same story over and over and over? Or are you going to go, no, you know what? Today I'm going to show up and I'm going to be in peace no matter what kind of chaos erupts. But really challenging your beliefs is where you can make massive steps in growth. Like I know some of you are like, oh, I want to feel better. I want to raise my vibration. La, 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 la. Well, look at challenging these beliefs that are bullshit. And how do you know it's bullshit? Go into your heart. If you're doing it out of guilt or shame, or, under the auspices of family obligation and blah, 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 you must love yourself first, and you have to honor yourself and honor your soul. And that is how you shift things. I can't stress that enough.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Trace.
I'm going to add, you're speaking about personal beliefs and what we've adopted for our family, but there's so many society belief systems that I truly believe, thank God, are crumbling very rapidly. The school system would be a great one. Not only the university, college, I mean, forget about it. I could talk about that for quite some time, but I'm talking about even, pre-K through high school. That is shifting, and people, word of what's coming down the pipeline, get ready, because it is going to change, because I have kids in the system and it is crumbling quicker than I even thought it would, which is disconcerting to some. But to me, it wasn't working. It's very outdated. It's very restrictive to our children. I personally don't think it's serving them at all. So having the courage, medical, big one. I mean, our society, banking, gosh, there's so much, and question it all, not in a go out and cause riot type of way, but really like, wow, is this really serving for humanity? Not just me, because that's what's coming in the next couple of years of us looking at how we do life. And there are going to have to be those of us that start saying, I'm not doing that anymore. And I can tell you, I'm doing it in the school. I'm doing it. I own restaurants with health inspectors. It's a bunch of bullshit regulations that are not good for the earth. They're not good for the people. And I'm the one that's saying, I don't care. Write me up. We're not doing it. So even be comfortable and confident enough to stretch against society if it's from a love-based. Newsflash, guys, half the stuff that's happening out there it's not for the good of humanity, and it's not for the good of the earth. And it will change. It's going to change. So that's another big opening to the belief systems.
Absolutely. And not like that, what one part we left out was church.
Oh, huge.
Right? Huge. And start to question down. Listen. I mean, not really, I guess, listen, hear what's really being said. Does that resonate with you? Because I know a lot of people say, well, I have to do this because, well, it's not right. Church, what I'm making, that's a sin. And is it like really pay attention to what feels right to you? Speak your truth. Question doubt. I taught religion for many years, and when they would change the wording on the prayers and the different stuff. And when I would go to the Monsignor and ask, like, I was the one that he would see me coming down the corridor and he would turn around and go into the thing. Or I'd ask something, he would, we don't have time for this conversation right now. So
right.
Yeah,
because you were the bullshit monitor.
Exactly.
Right. Like, I'm like, this is like, the human is changing this. Like, that's not right. Like, how can you justify that? You're saying, no, I can't have this conversation. And all of a sudden they got to go. So I'm sure they were so glad when my kids were done and I was done teaching. So like, get around. But that also is such a big thing, and really paying attention and honoring what is right for you and what feels right and what the belief system is. And I'm going to go back to what we were talking about in the prior podcast, and the whole aspect of the medical field and what they're saying to you and what they're giving you and telling you to take. Honor that, feel that. I mean, I know a friend of mine had had cervical cancer, or colon cancer many years ago. And she was going through, she was in this field, always in this field, did this whole holistic thing, always did the eating right, all of that stuff. And she knew when she was going through chemotherapy, she knew, she went to the doctor and she said to him, this is my last one. My body says this is my last one. And he's like, no, no, you have more. And she said, no, I can't, because I know that will kill me. And he
Yeah.
said, which shocked me, he said to her, I honor you for that. And I wish you
Yeah.
well. And sure enough, that was it. Like here,
Wow.
like I had known her like, many years after that, and she was thriving, she was healthy, like it was wonderful. So even if you're doing these things, pay attention to what feels right to you. If
Yeah.
you're taking something, that's good, because that's that piece that I was saying. Like sometimes you need to take something to get your body and the mind, and okay, this isn't me knowing that I can heal myself, because a lot of times we don't want to come into our power, right? It's like, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
scary thing to know that we can create and we can heal our bodies completely. Look at Dr. Joe Dispenza. They said
Yep.
he would never walk again with his spine injury after he hit by a car. He sat there and he visualized that spine. His walk, he does all sorts of seminars and that. I mean, it's amazing. You can heal things. So start to question, start to shift it around. If you're taking something, taking it with love. I'm not
Yeah.
taking this because, oh, this is going to heal me, or this is going to, I'm taking this with love until I no longer need it, because I
Yeah.
know that's going to come forward.
You infuse it. And even if you want to ask for guidance, say to your soul, please help me know when, right? And be open and then listen for it and receive the guidance. Our bodies do. We've got all kind, like we do have, the heart is a GPS. And so, and you mentioned like religion too. If there's a part of the rules or whatever you want to call it that don't resonate with you, the reason it's not resonating with you is not in alignment with your soul. And so, take the stuff that reads as your truth, but it has to be your truth. Your truth is not anybody else's truth. That's somebody else's journey. It's the same as, that other people's opinions of you are none of your business. The same holds true in this. And it's like, and it's beautiful if you gain safety and comfort from your faith, and don't entangle. Religion and spirituality are not the same. One is a practice and a belief system, and the other is the truth of who you are. And ultimately, we want to listen to the truth of who we are. That is where your safety comes from. Your safety in operating, your safety in creating comes from. That's your support. It's that inner support. It's divine. You're a divine being already. You're not becoming one. You're just becoming aware of how divine you are.
And I will say that, a lot of my clients, I got in the habit of saying angels and did all this other stuff, because when I would say God, I
Scary.
cannot begin to tell you how many would say, oh, I don't deal with God. God's a punishing God. First of all, the God that I learned about in church and the God that I work, two totally different beings. Like they're so totally different. And even when I was teaching religion, I'd read something, and because they gave you the whole thing, this is what you're teaching. And I would stop and I would say, okay, now I want you to feel this. I want you to, here's what they're saying. God loves you unconditionally. I want you to feel, does this feel right to you? Okay, so it's that point of like, when you're hearing, when you're doing things, does it feel right? Recognizing and realizing God, Buddha, Allah, whoever, whatever you call the higher being, loves you unconditionally.
Yeah.
Pure love. No matter what you say, it is heard with pure unconditional love. That means if you say, my God, I never have enough money, that God, that universe, that whatever is saying, oh, you don't have enough money? How wonderful. Okay, let's now have your car break down, because then you're going to use that money, because you can't have enough. You're not saving. Okay, so it's that whole piece of starting to recognize and to see where my belief system is and
Yeah.
what I'm creating for myself, and how is that playing out in my life? How can I shift and change it? If you just start to reframe things and say, okay, this is happening, right? I don't know the big picture. So even though I'm complaining that I want this and I'm not getting it right now, guess what? Maybe you're getting it done, or maybe something better is coming. So start to
Yes.
reframe and just, okay, well, wait a minute. All right, well, this is happening for a reason. Like, I'm not going to get mad at whatever. I know what's happening. And here's what I can change of that. Because that sometimes goes into, I don't know for you too, but sometimes that goes into a thing where people will say to me, that's all bullshit. Everything happens for a reason. That's bullshit. I'm not accepting that. Well, everything does happen for a reason. What I've realized in talking to people about that, well, how does that, what does that mean for you? What I realized was they're like, okay, that happens for a reason. Well, I got to not do anything about it. I just got to let it play out. No, you're seeing, you're experiencing, it's not resonating with you. So that's your soul saying, do something about it. Now, don't let this play out the way it's going to play out. You can intercede and
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's an opportunity for you to create.
Well, I was going to say, Peter, you say it a lot. We're creator beings, and it goes to be in collaboration with God source. I like, infinite intelligence is such a good, I usually
Yeah.
say it's just infinite intelligence. And oh, by the way, I am infinite intelligence. So I am that. And I think probably you too, you don't want to have people constantly come to you to fix them and heal them, right? No, you're a provider of information and the energy and the availability, but you're part of the process. So even in that, I know we spoke to it last episode, disconnect from the collective, disconnect from belief systems, and then connect to God, source, spirit, universal intelligence, like you said, whatever you want to say. And it's a collaboration and a creatorship with. And I think that's uncomfortable, owning your own power. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people can I just pray to God and he can do it for me? You can, but guess how you get a lot better, and even more and even
Yeah.
better, be in collaboration with.
Well, you are an expression of God. And if the word God scares you, find what resonates with you. But Renee, yeah, there's a massive, like, something that is creates from love, doesn't punish, doesn't condemn, doesn't inflict, doesn't even know what those are. That's something that I call the Who Man. The Who Man created these terms to keep us in fight or flight, to keep us in fear, and that's how we got into this shitstorm of a matrix to begin with. And now it's all right. It's crumbling, and we're being encouraged to and invited to step into our power. And I love what Tracy just said. For her, it's infinite intelligence, which is true. So all of these things are the source of that's created. It's all created out of love. And the more you expand, the more accessibility you have to be open to these unlimited possibilities. And oh, okay, what do I want to create in this space and how can I expand more?
And guess what? You are the infinite intelligence. That's who you are, period. So, we project it out like it's a piece and a part of us. We have that inside. Like, go within, listen to the heart, listen to your body, listen to your, soul, whatever you want to call it. And I love, Tracy, when you said the collaborative, I can't even read my writing.
Yeah, it's a collaboration, co-creation. It's
Yeah.
co-creation. Yeah.
So let's take that into the point of when you're taking, like when I take Advil. It's not like, I love, but it's like taking that into that point of like, okay, this is a collaborative unit where you're working together to be this, to help my body remember that it can do this. You're always waking something up within your system. So like, as I'm very aware, like, okay, when I take that, certainly the pain goes away. Okay, so that's all great. But guess what? Then you're coming back into that beautiful knowing. I'm not utilizing it as a thing of, okay, I have to take this all the time. It is this point of like, okay, I need this right now. Do I know that I can heal myself? I do know that. Am I at that place right now? No.
Right.
Like, and I'm well aware of it, and I'm okay with that because there's a reason. Like I always say, okay, there's a reason I'm here, this point, for whatever purpose, and I'm going to utilize this as information and knowledge and wisdom. I'm going to help this pill as I'm taking it. I'm going to help me remember and know that I have whatever's in here. I have it in me.
I
So I'm
love
working
that.
together. So I'm doing that whole collaborative aspect together as one. So starting to shift and change the
Yeah.
way we are seeing, feeling, hearing,
Yeah.
listening, talking to ourselves, and all the belief systems and everything that we're doing.
Yeah. You're doing it in collaboration with your soul, essentially. I call it my cosmic secretary.
Oh, I
Like
love that. I love
I'm
that.
like, oh, okay, this one, let's do this cosmic secretary. This is you do when you co-create with your soul in collaboration with your soul. That is your being, your infinite. That is you being infinite intelligence.
Yeah.
So I wrote about this, and I know I shared it with you ladies. I named it transfiguration, but this is what we're speaking to. Your presence in the process is alchemizing the process. So if we're in pain or in suffering, if while we're in it, we can rewrite the formula, we literally transmute it while we're going through it. And what occurred to me is homeopathy, if anyone's familiar, is like treats like. So that's, most people can't conceptually understand that. And I still am kind of, like you said, Renee, by taking the Advil, okay, I'm in this experience. I don't believe in pain and suffering anymore. So while I'm actually in the experience of pain and suffering, I am going to intentionally alchemize the experience for me. Therefore, it's transmuted, and maybe it shows up a little different the next time. Maybe we have to rework the formula. The pain's not as bad, or it's a different location. Instead of, oh shit, there it is again, I failed. Oh no, hold on, I'm in this experience again. I'm going to alchemize it. And I see a lot of formulas and algorithms and energetics, but it's really something phenomenal to play with, because we are always progressing. We are always shifting. Even if we take a backward step, it's usually to propel us even further forward, because we got a realization in that backward step. But you just made me rethink of that, Renee, of that's something really cool. That's talk about changing belief systems. Now we're talking about alchemizing our reality within an undesirable situation. Now that is some power.
Yeah. And that the healed version of you already exists in a parallel reality. And that's where the oneness all comes in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just moving back over to that, and really just not even just medicine, just everything. Start to look at it from the point, like people, with work. Oh my God, I hate work. I hate Mondays. I can't wait for Friday, blah, blah, blah. We talked about this on the break. That, it's that point of like, shift that. If you hate work, you're going to have a shitty ass Monday. And if you hate work, you're going to have shitty ass days, and your boss is going to be down your ass, and everybody else is going to be, bitching and complaining and doing all this stuff. So why don't you just reframe that a little and say, you know what, I'm going to have a great day at work today. And maybe it's everybody leaves you alone. Or maybe all of a sudden people that you thought were that complete asshole aren't. All of a sudden you let go of that expectation of somebody. You let go of the belief of who you thought that person was, and you'll be shocked at what actually turns around, because you're bringing that energy into work, and that those people don't like me, or this person's an asshole. This person, okay, so what do you think is going to happen? Nobody's going to let you down from your expectation. Let go of your expectations. It's just something in the belief system within you. You let go of that expectation, you're allowing those people to come to you, because remember, you're holding that space of love for yourself, and that just emanates out, right? It expands out into each and every aspect. Now you're expanding that into that workplace. Now all of a sudden people are acting differently, because just like Tracy said in the last episode, you're expanding that whole energy field. Those at home are getting it. Guess what? Those at work are getting it too. You're there 8 hours, right? That's getting it. So they're shifting as well. And now you're allowing them the ability to be their true selves, because you're speaking your truth with love. You're holding that beautiful space, and you're allowing those people to shift and to change. And I'm not saying that some people aren't assholes in your frame, but that's just saying, like, look at, you can learn something. You're not, I hate the whole learning thing. You can experience something with this. You're bringing them to you for a reason. And I noticed the people that were my biggest triggers, I've learned wonderful things. The biggest thing for me was to come back into me and let them be whoever they are going to be. Because that whole thing, when you can finally be who you are, and you can sit in that place of love and just be in that peace and that calm, I don't give a shit what they do. it's not like some of them even change their ways too much. They'll still say things to me that are so demeaning that it's like, how sad is that? That they feel that they have to tear me down to build themselves up. That's so sad. Like I don't take it because I know it's not about me. If they're
Well,
seeing that in you and they're saying something like that, what they're seeing is the reflection of themselves.
themselves. Yep.
So
And know
don't
what?
take it personal.
I love what you're saying here, Renee. And I use this statement. I refuse to deny myself love in this moment.
I love that. I love that.
I refuse to deny myself love in this moment. Like, you want to sideswipe me, you want to grenade my ass, go for it, because I refuse to deny myself love in this moment, and that's my power.
Mm.
And when we all do that, miracles happen. They really do. And you brought up the work situation. And I can almost hear questions coming on this, like, what do you do with your energy if you hate your job or you're bored? So if you had your dream job, how would you show up? What energy would you be in? And just play that game for one day, because that is you tapping into the energetics of what you want to create, and play that game for one day. And that is, again, you're moving the needle. And so you just say, no matter what, okay, I don't like this person and that person and blah, 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 but say, okay, this is my dream job for today. I'm going to play the role of I'm in my dream job. How am I showing up? Because if you stay in that energetic, by the way, you could get a job opportunity and go, oh, that sounds good. But know what? You're still tuned into the shit channel. If your energy's on the shit channel's going to follow you to every job. If you're in a bad relationship and you're tuned into the shit channel, oh, I need a new person. No, but if you're still tuned into the shit channel, what do people? Oh, I keep attracting the wrong. But yes, change your tune. How do you want to show up? Are you practicing self-love? And what does that look like? And get into that energy. And what Tracy was saying, like attracts like. And this truly is our power, that we, pick it up and start playing. It's fun.
I love that. I love that. Tracy, like just sitting there with that smile on, almost like you want to say something. Go ahead, let's hear it. I
You
love
guys are always like the love queens, and I'm like, and it's perfectly acceptable to show up and be like, you're an asshole, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself the grace of not putting up from a loving space. I'm not saying go out and be a jerk in life. I'm not, the number one rule for me is do the best you can, be kind, be loving, always, always, always. But sometimes life is life and it is a process. So I was thinking it sounds really easy just to sit here and listen to us. We'll just shift your timeline. We'll just stay in a place of love. Well, I'm the realist that's letting all of you know that's listening. Throw a temper tantrum, throw an F-bomb. You're a human. Like, that's totally okay. I like to, there is an underbelly to all of us that is still human, that is still from a place of love, but it is still part of where we're at and who we are, and it's okay. With the preface of be kind, be loving, do your best. We are human. Like sometimes it is, and I find it myself healthy to express that sometimes because we are a whole range of emotions. And if we always just try and force ourselves to be in love, to be in positivity, we're denying a whole other realm of the spectrum. So I feel like I always bring that into the conversation. The big bullshit factor of we are humans and we are allowed to, and I'm not discounting everything that's said. I'm saying I'm honoring the entire experience. Like you and I,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, we'll just stay in the energy. But no, guess what? It does take a commitment. I don't want to use the word work, but there is a commitment. And I still utilize commitment every day. I really don't just walk around and life just flows for me magically because I'm coming from my love and I'm in the energy. I'm going to be honest. I am committed to the process and to the ups and downs and writing them out and honoring them. And if I'm in the suck, I try and be in the suck with awareness and perspective. But sometimes
Yeah.
I'm in the suck.
Yeah.
And believe me, I am too. Like a lot of times, I'm saying that, but there is like, if I feel like someone's being a complete asshole, I'm going to say it. Because if I don't, it will make me crazy. I have to speak my truth. And I'm not saying it nasty. I'm not yelling and screaming it. I'm just saying, you know what, you're being an asshole right now. And, so it is that point. And I believe, so I'm not saying like love, 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 love. It is that point of being honest and honoring what you feel and being able to say that. And maybe you're planting a seed for the person that they don't realize they're doing that. Or maybe, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, there's a reflection of me in here. What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And see, that's what how I look at it. And for me, uh, I had to make my big shift was, and I do, I absolutely fully believe in my happy bubble. But that is what I chose to create. Like it is very important for me for love to flow through me, because if I get into a like conflicting energy, and I'm not saying you can't get this wrong is the point. You can't get this wrong. It's what feels good for you. And for me, like, and I'll use it. Renee gave a great example in one of the recent episodes when you said somebody cut you off and you said, fuck you, I love you. That's what I'm talking about. That coming from love and not from judgment and not from hate and not from separation, for me personally, is absolutely. And yeah, I use the example of if somebody can live their entire life in misery and in fear and pain, then the opposite exists. And that is living in love every single fucking day. And I know it's possible. And it's what I choose to create for myself. But whatever your path and however you choose to go through your daily, it's not wrong. And like Tracy said, so like if something happens, you can't get this wrong. So if you have that moment where you're like, dude, you're being an asshole, that doesn't, like, you're not getting struck by lightning, you're not negating your work. That was your truth at the moment, and you can own it. But then just make sure that, okay, did you do that out of self-love? Bingo. Am I doing this out of self-love? You, absolutely. Speaking your truth is always self-love. So just remember, you can't get it wrong.
Absolutely. I love that. And you're right. Can't do it wrong. No right words, no wrong words. Just follow your heart.
Yeah. And you can get back on track. We're not meant to, like, it's not a perfection game. It's not a perfection game. We're here for the experience. And so go through that experience and feel it. And if you don't like your situation, what am I creating right now? What do I want to create? Challenge your belief system, and more importantly, what beliefs are not your own. Gosh, I mean, when you start writing these down, is that really mine? Start writing it down. Is that okay? Where did this come from? Oh, school. Okay, that's bullshit. Where did this come from? Oh, everybody in my, like, towns even have belief systems. Everybody in blah blah is this, like LA. Everybody in LA is fake, right? You hear all these
Yeah.
sayings, and then you become part of that collective bullshit. So
I think
yeah, I mean,
I want to express, I think that's why I brought that up, because when you challenge belief systems, you're going to be presented with your reality changing and it might feel uncomfortable. So don't get discouraged.
yeah.
I think I missed the main point of what I was trying to say back there is things are going to present themselves. Don't get discouraged and you call them out. Like, don't try and stay in the name of love in an old belief system because you're trying to be loving. Have the courage to say, my reality changed. And yeah, don't give up, like keep going, because I see it, things are going to change. So stay true to you. And yeah, just stay always from the heart center, from love first, even if it comes out a little sideways.
Yeah,
And
you can't get
if
it
it's
wrong.
uncomfortable, know you're moving forward.
Right.
Yeah. And forgive yourself.
Ah,
Be forgiving. Forgive yourself. Like, we're not meant to be perfect on this ride. So it's enjoy
And
it.
how boring would that be anyway? That's my message. How boring would be perfect every day, in my opinion.
Well, who's deciding what's perfect?
I was going to say no such
Right?
thing.
Yeah, it's like what's great for me. Yeah.
I
So
was gonna
wow.
say, yeah, we're all
This
perfect, exactly the way we are. So it's like, just love
yeah.
yourself, love and honor it.
Yeah, great discussion, ladies. This is a wrap on this. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, please hit that like button. Continue to subscribe. We love your comments. We love you for being here. And with that, Tracy and Renee, I wish you ladies a lovely afternoon.
You
Till
too.
next time.
Bye, everyone.